What's up, everybody? Tindo here, and I've been thrift shopping. And clearly I found a lightsaber, which is great. It's just in time for The Mandalorian, which I haven't watched yet. Comment below. Have you watched it? Are you excited for it? Are you excited to watch it? I'm excited to watch it, but I'm willing to bet there's not going to be any lightsabers in it, which is kind of a bummer, because your boy likes his lightsabers. But at any rate, I'm glad I brought this one home. I brought a bunch more stuff home from the thrift store today. So let's go to the thrift stores. I'll show you everything that I got, and then we'll come back here and we'll talk about it all. Check this out. I've mentioned this before, but Hannah and I have a very interesting naming scheme when it comes to discussing the Goodwills that we frequent. And we call this Goodwill the Bike Goodwill. And that's because we were able to buy a really nice bike here one time for $1. And so the easiest way for us to tell each other which Goodwill we're talking about when we talk about something that we saw there, we call it the Bike Goodwill. We have that with pretty much all the Goodwills in town. We just kind of call it whatever we remember the most that we bought there. Pretty interesting. Does anyone else do that? I don't know that a lot of people do, because a lot of people don't have access to as many Goodwills as I do. There are so many here in Phoenix. I don't know exactly how many, but it's like 50. It's a bunch. So let's keep digging through the games here. I've already found a couple things I'm definitely going to buy. You might have spotted them, but there's a lot in here because this Goodwill doesn't really take time to organize the games. I find more and more lately that the Goodwills aren't quite organizing the games into their own section. And I don't know exactly why that is. As long as I've been shopping here in Phoenix, there's always been a shelf, and the video games have been on that shelf. And it's still that way at most Goodwills, but I just keep finding more and more like this one where they're just all tucked in. Now, don't get me wrong, even the ones where they are set aside, there will often be games that are missed that are tucked in there. But, yeah, I don't know, just more and more lately, they're all just kind of scattered in. But that's all right. I'll take the time and try my hardest to look through. Inevitably, I'll probably miss something. I'm getting older. My eyeballs probably need to be checked out, but let's move on to the rest of the store. I was looking over at the lockboxes, and for some reason, there were video games on top of the lockbox. Now, I don't know if these were inside and they left them on top accidentally, or if some other customer just decided, hey, I don't want these, and tossed them back here. But I'm going to go ahead and buy both the Need for Speed game and that other game. They're both games I don't have. At least I don't have the Greatest Hits edition. So I'm not leaving with nothing. I got a couple things off the shelf. I got these games off the lockbox. I should go ahead and check the rest of the store before I leave, because this store has a pretty good history of having great toys in it. I'm pretty sure the last time I was here, I bought a couple Nerf gun parts. But today, this lightsaber showed up, and I'm definitely going to buy this. We'll talk a little bit more about why I bought it later, but I was very, very happy to find this specific lightsaber. I've never really had a lot of luck with the electronics at this Goodwill, but I always check the electronics at every Goodwill for a couple specific reasons. I mean, the obvious bit, there's always the chance that something's going to show up, but the other thing is just that I have been really obsessed with completing my Wii collection lately. I have all the American Inbox Wiis except for the blue one, and I just, I don't have nightmares when I miss stuff. If you guys spot a game in my videos that I missed, it was valuable. It's a bummer, but there's plenty of excuses as to why it happens. Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Sometimes I don't know. There's a couple games I've learned the hard way that were valuable, and I've been lucky enough to find them again later. But I do have nightmares at the end of the night that maybe I missed that blue Wii. I obsessed over the weirdest things. I'm not unaware of that. But I do check the electronics pretty much just because I've got to find that blue Wii. Here's what I'm leaving this first stop with. Not bad for a first stop, but let's go on to the next thrift store and see if we can do any better. I'm going to a Savers next. This is a Savers I've been going to a ton lately, but that's because it's been going really well here lately. So let's see if there's anything in here. I do spot a couple Sega Genesis games on the shelf. I'll come back by later and see if I can maybe get my hands on a couple of them. There's definitely some sports Sega stuff up there that I don't have, so I'm likely to buy that. But let's go check the regular video game section first. Their media section here is usually all right. If you're into books, if you're into records, Savers is a good place to go. The video game section does look a bit sad today. It's pretty much leftovers or stuff that I don't need. There's a monster truck game in there that I already have. There's a lot of stuff here that I already have. But it doesn't hurt to take a look through it anyways. The game I just set aside there, I need to check my spreadsheet and make sure that I don't already have it. I'm pretty sure that I do, so I'm not going to worry about it. There's a bunch of PSP stuff here. I checked all of the titles, and I already have these PSP UMDs, so I'm just going to buy that sports game PSP because I don't have that one. But pretty much everything else here, I do have. Let's move on to the electronics now. There's some joysticks, and there's an Xbox and a Wii here, but the Wii's $20, and the Xbox is also $20, and those are things that I usually can buy at the Goodwill bins for next to nothing. So now that I'm kind of striking out at this store, I decided to go ahead and check the deeper stuff that I don't always have time to check. And I checked the magazine section, and there were these Tomb Raider comics in there. I don't know what it was about them, but I had to have them. So I'm going to go ahead and buy those. And there was some more stuff in here that was interesting, at least to look at, and that's some comic books. Well, these are comic books I'm buying, and I say this all the time. I don't often buy comic books because I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole. But I am going to buy these Tomb Raider ones. There was a Game Informer there, but it was an issue that I already have. But these Gundam comic books, I really thought about buying them, and I'm still maybe a little regretful that I didn't buy them because I love Gundam. Let me repeat myself. I love Gundam, but I just don't need more comic books. I do want to make a Tomb Raider shelf one of these days and put some Tomb Raider stuff on display. That's why I bought those comic books, but no more. No more comic books. A quick check of the toys before I go, but I'm not seeing a lot. The toys here are usually just insane. There's just so much, and they don't have enough room for as many as they have, and that's okay. I'm not complaining. I like digging through them. I like working for it. Now, let's move on to the last stop of the day. This is another Goodwill that I've been frequenting quite a bit, but every time I've gone in the last couple weeks, I've left with stacks of great games. Here in the lockbox is where most of their games are at this Goodwill, and there's a lot of stuff as soon as I start looking that was here last time I left with a stack. So that means they haven't completely cleared out, but hopefully they've restocked a little bit because I'd like to have a repeat of the last time I was here for sure. There's a stack of what looks to be PlayStation sports titles there. There's definitely some GameCube stuff in here I really want to look at. The guy working though is waiting on a customer, so I'm going to have to wait a minute to get in there. That's all right. I can window shop until then. Game Boy stuff, Game Boy Advance stuff, but nothing I'm clamoring over. The same gentleman that helped me out the last time I was here just so happened to be here today, and he's sometimes intrigued when I come and buy so many video games, and he asks me every time, are you a reseller or a collector? And I tell him I'm a collector. I'm keeping every single one of these, and he was really surprised last time because I left with like 20 games, which I don't always do at a single Goodwill. But yeah, I want all of this stuff. There's a lot of good stuff here. There were a lot of GameCube games here that I wanted, but they were priced a bit high. Almost every GameCube game in here was $7 or $10, or a couple were $15, like this Lord of the Rings game. It's all pretty expensive, but it's okay because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to go start out here on half off day when it comes back around and try to get a few of these. I bet a lot of it will be gone, but I'll give it a shot at least. I did look up a few of these titles to make sure they weren't super expensive, and maybe I just had to buy them for cheaper for now, but I don't know. I looked at these GameCube games forever, and I was so mad how expensive they were. I almost just went ahead and bought them anyways, but I've got a lot of store credit saved up right now, and I'm thinking about one of these days just going and blowing it all on GameCube games just so I can cut a huge pie of that GameCube collection out of the way. So if I'm going to do that, I might as well not buy the games here with my cash that I could buy with that credit. And that's pretty much what all those GameCube games were. But I'm going to keep looking here. There's a lot of PlayStation stuff. Buying that. I'm buying that. And look at this. Mario Party 7 for the GameCube. Not a bad price, even despite the fact that there's no case there. It's not a bad price because I really want to play Mario Party on the GameCube. We've talked about that a lot on the channel, I think, how much we need to play some Mario Party on the GameCube. So I've set aside a bunch of stuff that I'm going to buy. The guy at the cash register is going to hold on to it for me while I go look at the regular games, which I'm glad I did because right off the bat, there is a Jaws game for the PlayStation 2. That's pretty much it, though. There just wasn't a lot in here. There's just a bunch of sports titles, a bunch of DVDs. There was one little thing that caught my eye. PSP UMD case for Pulp Fiction, but inside some sort of demo disc. And that's a bummer because I'd really like to have that particular UMD And the demo disc could have been cool if it was worth something, but it's not. It wasn't worth anything, so I just put the whole thing back. I thought since I left there, maybe I should have just bought both. Maybe one of these days I could come across the Loose movie and maybe a case for the demo disc, but I'm not that worried about it. There was some interesting Xboxes here. An Xbox original, a 360, and a 360 Slim, and they were all just trashed. The prices on them weren't really good anyway, so it doesn't matter, but I thought it was interesting how trash they were. All right, guys, we are back in the game room, and I'm very excited about the stuff that I got today. I'm excited, first and foremost, because I got some games that I'm actually very excited to play in the next couple of days. There's stuff that was on a list of things that I wanted to find just so I could play. And then I'm also excited about this lightsaber, because this lightsaber is not rare, okay, but it's uncommon. And I had one, and it was one that my brother was missing from his collection. And so when he lived here with me, and he was streaming on Twitch and stuff, he had all of his lightsabers in the background of his videos, kind of. And we put this one with the rest of his, and when he moved away, I let him take it. So I've been looking for one to replace it. It was no big deal when he took it, because I thrift so much, I just knew it was going to turn up again, and today it finally did. It's not super rare, it's just uncommon. And, I see the Anakin Luke one every day, but this one doesn't show up so much. But I've got it, and I'm excited to have it and finally put it with the rest of my lightsabers. I have a really large lightsaber collection, and I don't really have the space to display them now, but one of these days when we have our own YouTube space, it will be the first thing I do. Swear, I'll build a lightsaber display. That'll be awesome, won't it? Well, I also got some what I thought were magazines today, but turns out they're giant comic books. They're Tomb Raider comic books. And yeah, there's not really much else to say about them other than that. They're just really large print. Whoa, there's a poster in the middle. I did not realize that. We'll have to see if there's one in the other two. But yeah, they're just these large format comics. I've never read any Tomb Raider comic books, so I'll definitely be reading those very soon. What do you guys think? We got any comic book collectors watching? I know we do. A lot of you guys have either commented below about some of the comic books you've seen in my videos, or some of you have actually joined the Discord and shown off a little bit of your comic book collection or talked about the stuff you like to collect. Speaking of which, if you're not already a member of our Discord, please go join. All we really do is whenever we all have time, we get on to the Discord. It's just a forum, like any internet forum, and we just chat. We chat about video games, comic books, lightsabers, who knows. Now let's move on to the video games. I'm going to start with probably the best thing. I'm going to bury the lead here because I got Mario Party 7 for the GameCube. And I'm super excited about this because I only finally put together a complete copy of Mario Party 8, I guess, one of the Wii ones, 8 or 9. And we're excited to play that, but we've all been sitting around the house here talking about how great it would be to have a GameCube Mario Party because, microphones and all the other shenanigans that come with playing Mario Party on a GameCube. Be expecting us to play some Mario Party on the GameCube very soon, whether it be for a couple videos or over on Twitch or both. If you don't follow us on Twitch, you should, because it's going to be a wild time when we try to stream this game. Next up, this is very exciting, Jaws Unleashed. I do not have any Jaws video games, so that is going to be good. I'll definitely put this in and at least try it, give it a minute. Whether it be this video game or any of the other ones I talk about today, if you see anything in this stack that you think I should play, definitely let me know. And maybe I'll give it the time of day. Here's one. Oh, I can't tell you how excited I am about this game. There's a series on the Xbox called Mech Assault that I have made my love for very clear on this channel because I love giant fighting robots. And what do we have here? Robotech. What is the name of it? Battle Cry. Those letters are small. I'm very, very excited to play this. This will be played this week. As I said back at the beginning of the video, I got a bunch of stuff that I'm ready to play. Next up, The Lord of the Rings, The Third Age. This is also very exciting. I thought I actually had most of the Lord of the Rings games, and this is one I did not know about. It's an RPG, and the back title on it says, "One RPG to rule them all." Isn't that perfect? Next up, I'm always excited to bring home more wrestling games. WWF Warzone. My boy Steve Austin on the front. What about wrestling fans? We got any of those in the house? I know we do. Heck, we've got some people that watch that their love for wrestling can be seen in their usernames. their usernames check out. Next up, Driver 2, Greatest Hits for PlayStation 1. I brought home 2 PlayStation 1 games today. Both of the discs are there. This one is missing its manual though, but I am like 89% sure I have a spare manual for this, so no worries there. More GameCube, NBA Live 06. This, yeah, I thought this felt light. It is missing its manual. It has the safety book in it, but that's alright. Sports. Madden 95, more sports, but it's Sega Genesis. Finally, my Sega Genesis collection is growing a little bit. It was just like 8 games for the longest time, but now I've got like, I don't know, 15 or 20. Next up, NBA Live 07 for the PSP. Kind of the same thing with the PSP. That's my whole PSP collection right there. Actually, we've taken over a second shelf, I see now, actually. But there's one more to add. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, Greatest Hits Edition. And then True Crime New York City. There you go. That is, as far as I'm concerned, that's a stack of good games. We got some sports stuff, but that's fine. But 2 PlayStation 1 games in one day and like 3 GameCube games, I'm happy about it. You guys comment below, let me know what your favorite thing that I got today was. Mine's hands down, even though it's not complete in box, Mario Party 7. But I bought it out of box because it was only 12 bucks, and I'm so excited to play it. So the disc is in a pretty good condition, just needs to be cleaned. What do you think? Least favorite thing that I got today? I don't know, I don't think any of this is bad. I mean, these sports titles aren't great, but they're all 3 consoles that I'm just obsessed with collecting. So I've got to get them if I want any hope of a complete collection, especially GameCube. It's a collection I want to complete so bad. So I'm not even mad about those. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like I said earlier, go join the Discord if you haven't already. I know you've heard me begging and begging for you to join, but it's because every day that I beg, 1 or 2 new people join, and we're climbing and climbing, and we're almost at 100 users over there. And it's great. It's a good time. Sometimes whenever we decide to go live and stream and play video games over on Twitch or wherever we play them, we get on the Discord and we often see who wants to join us depending on what the game is, if we need multiplayers, etc., etc. It's a good time. You should definitely go join the Discord. You should go follow us on Twitch because same thing. You might just stumble by there sometime and find us playing a video game you have that you can play with us, and we can all have a great time together. But that is it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hit that like and subscribe button before you go. And most importantly, hit that bell notification so that your notifications are turned on. So anytime in the future when I post videos and I go thrift hunting, or I do any number of wild things that we often find ourselves doing, you'll get a notification and you can come hang out with us then. Until then, guys, peace out.